Welcome to How Your Mind Tricks You, written by Assets Investor. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and growth. This audiobook will uncover the fascinating ways your mind works against you and for you, shaping the decisions you make every day. Imagine unlocking a deeper understanding of your own mind. Imagine being able to recognize the subtle mental traps that hold you back and learning how to overcome them to live a more fulfilling, intentional life. That's exactly what we're going to explore in this audiobook. So get comfortable, whether you're driving, walking, or simply relaxing at home. Let's embark on this eye-opening journey together. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Perception. Our journey begins with perception, the lens through which you see the world. But what if I told you that this lens is flawed, and the way you interpret reality is often an illusion? Let me explain. Your brain doesn't capture the world as it is. Instead, it processes raw sensory input, light, sound, smell, and constructs a version of reality that feels consistent and understandable. However, this version is often incomplete or distorted. Let's start with something simple: optical illusions. Consider the checkerboard illusion. Two squares on a board, one in the shadow of a cylinder and one in the light, appear to be different shades. Yet, if you isolate these squares, you'll find they're the exact same color. How is this possible? Your brain is making an assumption. It's factoring in the shadow and adjusting what you see to make sense of the context. While this is useful in most situations, it reveals how easily your mind can deceive you. But this deception doesn't stop with your vision. Cognitive biases, the mental shortcuts your brain uses to make quick decisions, also distort your understanding of reality. For instance, anchoring bias. You give undue weight to the first piece of information you encounter. If someone tells you a product costs $100 and then offers it for $50, you'll perceive it as a great deal, even if $50 is still overpriced. Availability bias. You think something is more common or likely because it's easy to recall. For example, after watching news about plane crashes, you may overestimate the risk of flying, even though air travel remains one of the safest modes of transportation. Confirmation bias. You unconsciously seek out information that supports your existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. This can keep you trapped in a cycle of limited understanding. Why does your mind trick you this way? The answer lies in evolution. Your brain evolved to prioritize survival, not accuracy. Quick decisions based on limited information were often the difference between life and death for early humans. But in the modern world, these mental shortcuts can lead you astray. The good news is that awareness is the first step toward overcoming them. By recognizing these patterns, you can train yourself to slow down and question your assumptions. Ask yourself, am I seeing the full picture or just a part of it? Could my interpretation be influenced by bias? What evidence am I ignoring? Remember, the truth is rarely as simple as it seems. When you begin to challenge your perceptions, you'll start to see the world and yourself with greater clarity. Chapter 2. The Habit Trap. Let's move on to habits, the invisible routines that shape your daily life. Habits are like the autopilot of your mind. They're the reason you can drive home from work without remembering a single turn or brush your teeth without consciously thinking about it. Habits are powerful. They save mental energy by automating repetitive tasks, freeing up your brain to focus on more complex problems. But here's the catch. Not all habits are helpful. Think about it. How many times have you reached for your phone without realizing it, or turned to food or caffeine for comfort during stress? These habits may feel automatic, but they're often triggered by specific cues, like boredom, anxiety, or even a notification sound. Psychologists break habits into three components. 1. Cue, the trigger that starts the habit. Second, routine, the behavior you perform. 3. Reward, the benefit you gain which reinforces the habit. For example, let's say every time you feel stressed, you grab a snack. The stress is the cue, eating is the routine, and the temporary comfort is the reward. Over time, this loop becomes ingrained, and you find yourself snacking even when you're not hungry. The challenge is that your brain doesn't distinguish between good and bad habits. It only cares about efficiency. Breaking a bad habit, then, requires disrupting the loop. Start by identifying the cue. Ask yourself, what triggers this behavior? Is it a specific time, place, or emotion? Next, replace the routine with a healthier alternative. For instance, instead of grabbing a snack when stressed, try going for a short walk or practicing deep breathing. Finally, focus on the reward. Make the new behavior satisfying so your brain wants to repeat it. But what about building good habits? The key is to make them. 1. Obvious. Set clear, specific goals. Instead of saying, "I'll exercise more," say, "I'll walk for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. every day." 2. Easy. Start small. It's better to do 5 minutes of exercise consistently than to aim for an hour and give up. 3. Rewarding. Celebrate your progress. Each time you complete the habit, acknowledge your achievement. It reinforces the behavior. One of the biggest mistakes people make is relying on willpower alone. Willpower is a limited resource, and when it runs out, old habits resurface. Instead, focus on creating an environment that supports your goals. For example, remove temptations. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in the house. Use visual cues. Leave your workout clothes by the bed to remind you to exercise. Surround yourself with supportive people. Habits are contagious, and being around others who share your goals can boost your success. Remember, habits are neither good nor bad. They're tools. It's up to you to use them wisely. By taking control of your habits, you can take control of your life. It won't happen overnight, but with consistency and patience, transformation is inevitable. Chapter 3. Emotional hijacking. Picture this. You're in a meeting and someone criticizes your idea. Instantly, you feel a surge of anger, embarrassment, or even defensiveness. That split-second reaction is your brain's way of taking over, a phenomenon called emotional hijacking. Emotional hijacking occurs when the amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, reacts faster than your rational mind, the prefrontal cortex. This is an ancient survival mechanism. In the days of our ancestors, reacting quickly to threats, like a predator, was essential for survival. But today, the threats we face are rarely life-threatening. Let's break down how emotional hijacking works. When you encounter a stimulus, like a harsh comment or a sudden scare, your brain processes it in 2 ways. 1. The fast route. The information goes straight to the amygdala, triggering an immediate emotional response. 2. The slow route. The information is sent to the prefrontal cortex for rational evaluation. The problem is, the fast route often kicks in before the slow route has a chance to weigh in. This is why you might snap at a loved one in anger or make a rash decision you later regret. Emotional hijacking can manifest in several ways. Anger. You lash out when you feel attacked or misunderstood. Fear. You freeze or overreact to situations that aren't as dire as they seem. Sadness. You dwell on negative events, amplifying their emotional impact. So how do you regain control when your emotions take over? Here are some strategies. 1. Pause and breathe. When you feel an emotional surge, pause. Take a deep breath. Count to 5 as you inhale and 5 as you exhale. This simple act engages your parasympathetic nervous system, which calms you down. 2. Name the emotion. Research shows that naming your emotion, whether it's anger, fear, or sadness, can help reduce its intensity. Simply say to yourself, "I'm feeling angry right now," or "I'm afraid this might fail." Naming the emotion activates the rational part of your brain. 3. challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought true? For example, if someone criticizes your work, you might think, I'm terrible at my job. But is that really true? Look at the bigger picture and assess the evidence. 4. Create a buffer. If possible, step away from the situation. Go for a walk, listen to music, or do something that shifts your focus. This gives your rational mind time to catch up and evaluate the situation. 5. Practice emotional regulation. Developing emotional intelligence can help you manage hijacking in the long term. This involves self-awareness, recognizing your emotional triggers, self-regulation, developing strategies to respond calmly, empathy, understanding the emotions of others to prevent misunderstandings. Emotional hijacking isn't something you can eliminate entirely, but with practice, you can reduce its impact. Remember, emotions are part of being human. They can guide you, inspire you, and connect you with others. The goal isn't to suppress them, it's to manage them wisely. Chapter 4. The anchoring effect. Let's move on to a mental trap that influences how you evaluate information and make decisions. The anchoring effect. The anchoring effect occurs when your mind gives disproportionate weight to the first piece of information it receives, even if that information is irrelevant or misleading. This mental shortcut, while efficient, often leads to poor judgment. Here's an example. Imagine you're shopping for a car and the first dealership quotes $30,000 for a model. At the next dealership, the same car is priced at $25,000. You feel like you're getting a fantastic deal. But what if the car's true market value is $20,000? Because the $30,000 anchor was set first, it skews your perception. Anchoring doesn't just happen in sales. It influences decisions in countless areas of life. Negotiations. The first offer in a negotiation often sets the tone for the entire discussion. Personal goals. If you set an unrealistic weight loss target, for example, it might lead to disappointment when you don't reach it. Financial decisions. When you hear that a stock was once valued at $100, you may perceive its current price of $70 as a bargain, even if the fundamentals don't justify the investment. So, how can you counter the anchoring effect? Here are some practical steps. 1. Be aware of the anchor. The first step is awareness. When you notice an initial piece of information influencing your decision, pause and ask yourself, am I being anchored by this? 2. Do your research. Don't rely solely on the first piece of information you encounter. Gather additional data from multiple sources. For instance, if you're negotiating a salary, research industry averages and compare offers from different companies. 3. Set your own anchor. In situations like negotiations, set your own anchor before entering the discussion. If you know the true value of what you're negotiating, you'll be less likely to be swayed by the other party's anchor. 4. Think in ranges. Instead of fixating on a single number, think in ranges. For example, if you're considering buying a house, determine a price range based on your budget and market trends. This approach gives you more flexibility and reduces the impact of any single anchor. 5. Seek a fresh perspective. Sometimes it's hard to spot an anchor when you're too close to the decision. Talk to a trusted friend, mentor, or expert for an outside perspective. They can help you see the situation more objectively. 6. Practice mental resilience. Anchoring often works because it appeals to our desire for certainty. Developing mental resilience through mindfulness, self-reflection, and critical thinking can help you stay grounded in the face of external influences. The anchoring effect shows us how powerful the first impression of information can be, but by becoming more aware of this bias and actively questioning it, you can make better, more informed decisions. Remember, every choice you make has the potential to shape your future. Don't let an arbitrary anchor hold you back from reaching your true potential. Chapter 5. Confirmation bias. Now let's talk about one of the most insidious tricks your mind plays on you: confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek out information that confirms your pre-existing beliefs while ignoring evidence that challenges them. It's a natural part of how your brain processes information, but it can lead to distorted thinking and poor decision-making. Imagine you believe a particular diet is the best for weight loss. You'll likely spend hours reading success stories, watching videos that praise the diet, and joining communities of like-minded individuals. But if someone presents scientific evidence showing the diet has flaws, your instinct might be to dismiss it or argue against it, even if it's valid. This bias operates in every aspect of life. Politics. People tend to follow news outlets that align with their political beliefs, reinforcing their perspectives while avoiding opposing viewpoints. Investing. Investors might hold onto a failing stock because they only focus on reports that suggest a turnaround, ignoring signs that it's time to cut their losses. Relationships. In personal conflicts, you might only remember instances that support your side of the argument while forgetting times when you were in the wrong. Why does this happen? Your brain craves consistency. It wants your beliefs and actions to align because inconsistency creates cognitive dissonance, a feeling of mental discomfort. To avoid this discomfort, your mind unconsciously filters out anything that doesn't fit your narrative. How to overcome confirmation. Bias 1. Seek disconfirming evidence. Actively look for information that challenges your beliefs. For example, if you're convinced about a particular investment, research why others think it might fail. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but it ensures you're making a well-rounded decision. 2. Play devil's advocate. Pretend you're arguing against your own perspective. Ask yourself, if I were trying to prove myself wrong, what evidence would I look for? This exercise can open your mind to new possibilities. 3. Diversify your information sources. Consume content from a variety of perspectives. If you usually read one type of news outlet, try exploring others, even if you disagree with them. Exposure to diverse viewpoints helps you form a more balanced opinion. Practice intellectual humility. Accept that you might be wrong. Being open to new information doesn't weaken your beliefs. It strengthens them by making them more informed. 5. Ask neutral questions. When seeking advice or conducting research, frame your questions neutrally. Instead of asking, "Why is this the best option?" ask, "What are the pros and cons of this option compared to others?" 6. Reflect on past decisions. Think about times when confirmation bias influenced your choices. What were the consequences? How could you have approached the situation differently? Reflection is a powerful tool for growth. Confirmation bias is a mental shortcut your brain uses to protect your beliefs, but it can also limit your potential. By challenging your assumptions and staying open to new information, you'll make better decisions and broaden your understanding of the world. Chapter 6. The Spotlight Effect. Let's move on to a fascinating phenomenon called the spotlight effect. This is the tendency to overestimate how much others notice and judge your actions, appearance, or mistakes. Think back to a time when you tripped in public or said something awkward in a conversation. Did you replay that moment in your mind, imagining everyone around you laughing or judging you? The truth is, most people probably didn't notice, or if they did, they quickly forgot. The spotlight effect happens because you're the center of your own world. You experience life through your own perspective, so it feels natural to assume others are equally focused on you. But here's the reality. Everyone else is busy being the center of their own world too. How the spotlight effect affects your life. 1. Self-consciousness. You might avoid speaking up in meetings, wearing bold clothing, or trying new things because you fear being judged. 2. Overthinking mistakes. You might dwell on minor errors like mispronouncing a word or spilling a drink, imagining others see you as clumsy or unprofessional. 3. Fear of rejection. You might hesitate to take risks, like starting a conversation with someone new or pursuing a passion, because you assume others are watching and waiting for you to fail. How to overcome the spotlight effect. 1. Realize how little others care. This might sound harsh, but it's freeing. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to focus on you. A 2000 study by psychologists Thomas Gilovich and Kenneth Savitsky found that people consistently overestimate how much others notice their behavior. 2. Shift your focus. Instead of worrying about how others perceive you, focus on the moment. If you're giving a presentation, concentrate on delivering value to your audience rather than wondering if they notice your nervousness. 3. Laugh at yourself. Humor can diffuse self-consciousness. If you trip or make a mistake, laugh it off. It shows confidence and reminds others, and yourself, that you don't take yourself too seriously. 4. Challenge negative thoughts. When you catch yourself worrying about others' opinions, ask, what evidence do I have that they're judging me? Even if they noticed, does it really matter? Most of the time, you'll realize your fears are exaggerated. 5. Take small risks. Build your confidence by taking small social risks, like striking up a conversation with a stranger or sharing your opinion in a group. Over time, you'll see that the consequences of being noticed are rarely as bad as you imagine. 6. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend. If you wouldn't judge someone else harshly for a mistake, why judge yourself? The spotlight effect is a mental trick that makes you feel more visible and vulnerable than you really are. By recognizing this illusion, you can free yourself from unnecessary self-consciousness and start living more boldly and authentically. Remember, the world isn't watching you as closely as you think. So take that chance, speak your mind, and embrace the freedom to be yourself. Chapter 7. The Scarcity Mindset. Let's dive into the scarcity mindset, one of the most subtle yet powerful ways your mind tricks you into making poor decisions. The scarcity mindset is the belief that resources, whether it's time, money, or opportunities, are limited, leading to feelings of anxiety, fear, and inadequacy. Imagine you're at a buffet and you see your favorite dish. You load up your plate, even if you're not that hungry, because you're worried it might run out. This is scarcity in action. It's not just about food or tangible items. It influences every aspect of life. How the scarcity mindset manifests. 1. Time scarcity. You might feel there's never enough time to accomplish everything. This leads to constant multitasking, stress, and a sense of being overwhelmed. 2. Financial scarcity. You may hoard money or avoid spending on things that matter because you're afraid of running out, even when your finances are stable. 3. Opportunity scarcity. You might cling to a job, relationship, or project that no longer serves you because you fear you won't find anything better. 4. Fear of missing out, FOMO. The scarcity mindset fuels FOMO, making you feel compelled to say yes to every opportunity or buy every trending product, even when it doesn't align with your goals. The psychology behind scarcity. Your brain is wired to prioritize scarcity because, for early humans, resources were genuinely limited. A scarcity mindset helped our ancestors survive, but in today's world, it often leads to irrational behavior. When you perceive scarcity, your brain enters a tunnel vision state, focusing solely on the perceived shortage and ignoring the bigger picture. How to shift to an abundance mindset. 1. Recognize the illusion's start by identifying where scarcity is influencing your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really a limited resource, or does it just feel that way? 2. Focus on what you have. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to scarcity. Take time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. This simple practice can shift your perspective from lack to abundance. 3. Plan and prioritize. When time feels scarce, create a clear plan for your day. Focus on high-priority tasks and let go of the need to do everything at once. 4. Reframe your thoughts. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," try saying, "How can I afford this?" This subtle shift opens your mind to possibilities rather than focusing on limitations. 5. Give generously. Counteract scarcity by giving, whether it's your time, money, or resources. Generosity reinforces the belief that there's more than enough to go around. 6. Embrace opportunities. Trust that new opportunities will come your way. Letting go of things that no longer serve you creates space for better things to enter your life. The scarcity mindset convinces you to operate from a place of fear, but an abundance mindset empowers you to live with confidence and optimism. Remember, life is full of opportunities. You just have to be open to seeing them. Chapter 8. The Halo Effect. Now, let's explore the halo effect, a mental shortcut that causes you to judge someone or something based on a single positive trait, often leading to inaccurate conclusions. The term halo effect comes from the idea that one standout characteristic, like a glowing halo, can overshadow everything else, creating a biased perception. Everyday examples of the halo effect. 1. Physical appearance. People often assume that attractive individuals are more intelligent, kind, or capable, even though there's no evidence to support this. This is why appearance plays such a significant role in first impressions. 2. Brand loyalty. If you love one product from a brand, you're more likely to assume their other products are equally good, even without trying them. 3. Leadership perceptions. In the workplace, a confident speaker may be perceived as a better leader, even if their ideas aren't particularly strong. 4th, educational settings. Teachers may unconsciously favor students who are polite or well-dressed, assuming they are also hardworking or intelligent. The dangers of the halo effect. While the halo effect can simplify decision-making, it often leads to poor judgments. For example, hiring a candidate based on their charisma rather than their skills can lead to mismatched roles. Trusting a popular brand for all purchases can cause you to overlook better, more affordable alternatives. Overvaluing a charismatic leader may result in ignoring their flaws or harmful policies. How to counteract the halo effect. 1. Separate traits from judgments. When evaluating someone or something, ask yourself, am I basing my judgment on facts or a single standout trait? For example, if someone is well-dressed, consider whether their appearance truly correlates with their abilities. 2. Gather evidence. Before forming an opinion, look for objective evidence. If you're hiring someone, focus on their skills, experience, and references rather than their confidence or charm. 3. Seek second opinions. Get input from others who may have a different perspective. They might notice things you've overlooked due to the halo effect. 4. Consider the opposite. Deliberately look for flaws or weaknesses. This doesn't mean being overly critical, but balancing your evaluation with a healthy dose of skepticism. 5. Take time to decide. Snap judgments often amplify the halo effect. If possible, delay your decision until you've had time to gather more information and consider different angles. The reverse halo effect, horn effect. Interestingly, the halo effect has a counterpart, the horn effect. This is when a single negative trait overshadows everything else. For example, if someone is late to a meeting, you might unfairly label them as irresponsible, even if they're highly competent in other areas. By being aware of both the halo and horn effects, you can make more balanced, thoughtful judgments. The halo effect is a reminder that your mind loves shortcuts, but these shortcuts can mislead you. By slowing down, questioning your assumptions, and seeking a fuller picture, you can make better decisions and see people and situations for what they truly are. Chapter 9. Memory Manipulation. Let's talk about memory, the keeper of your life's experiences, the thread that connects your past to your present. But here's the surprising truth. Your memory is far from perfect. It's not a video recorder storing exact details of events. Instead, it's more like a storyteller, constantly editing, reshaping, and even inventing details. Memory manipulation occurs when your brain rewrites events, fills in gaps, or alters details, often without you realizing it. This process can influence how you perceive yourself, others, and the world around you. Why your memory can't be trusted. 1. Memory is constructive. When you recall an event, your brain doesn't retrieve a perfect snapshot. Instead, it reconstructs the memory based on bits of information, filling in gaps with assumptions or related experiences. 2. The influence of emotions. Emotions play a significant role in shaping your memories. For instance, a fight with a friend might make you recall the friendship as more negative than it actually was. Conversely, nostalgia can paint the past in a rosier light than it deserves. 3. The Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect refers to the phenomenon where large groups of people misremember the same event or detail. For example, many people falsely remember the Berenstain Bears as the Berenstain Bears. This shows how collective memory can be shaped by repeated misinformation. 4. False memories. Your brain can create entirely false memories, often influenced by suggestion or repetition. This is why eyewitness testimonies in legal cases are notoriously unreliable. Practical examples of memory manipulation. 1. Childhood memories. Have you ever argued with a sibling about how something happened when you were kids? Chances are both of you believe your version, even though they differ. 2. Rewriting the past. When reflecting on a failed relationship, you might remember only the bad moments, forgetting the good ones, or vice versa, depending on your current feelings. 3. Media influence. Repeated exposure to a story, even if false, can make you believe it happened. Advertisers and social media often exploit this phenomenon to shape public opinion. How to strengthen and protect your memory. 1. Practice mindfulness. Being present in the moment helps encode memories more accurately. When you're fully engaged in an experience, you're less likely to misremember it later. 2. Write things down. Keeping a journal or taking notes helps solidify memories and provides a reliable record you can refer to later. 3. Review and revisiting past experiences through photos, conversations, or reflection reinforces your memory. However, be mindful not to let repeated distortions creep in. 4. Seek multiple perspectives. When recalling events, ask others who were there for their versions. This can help you form a more balanced and accurate picture. 5. Be skeptical of certainty. If you're absolutely sure about a memory, take a step back. Certainty doesn't guarantee accuracy, especially for older memories. 6. Limit media influence. Be cautious about the media you consume. Repeated exposure to misinformation can distort your perception of events and even your personal memories. Memory manipulation is a reminder that your mind isn't perfect, but that's okay. By understanding the limitations of memory and taking steps to strengthen it, you can better navigate the world and make decisions rooted in truth, not distortion. Chapter 10. Overcoming mental traps. Now that we've explored the many ways your mind tricks you, it's time to focus on solutions. How do you break free from these mental traps and take control of your thoughts? The good news is, your brain is adaptable. With practice and intentional effort, you can rewire your mind to think more clearly and effectively. The power of awareness. The first step in overcoming mental traps is awareness. You can't change what you don't recognize. Take a moment to reflect. Which mental traps resonate most with you? How have these traps influenced your decisions, relationships, or outlook on life? Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. Once you see the traps, you can start navigating around them. Practical strategies to overcome mental traps. 1. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present without judgment. It helps you observe your thoughts and emotions as they arise, creating a pause between stimulus and response. Start with simple breathing exercises. Focus on your breath for 5 to 10 minutes daily. When you notice a mental trap, name it. For example, this is confirmation bias, or I'm experiencing the spotlight effect. 2. Challenge automatic thoughts. Your first thought isn't always your best thought. When you notice a negative or biased thought, ask yourself, what evidence supports this thought? What evidence contradicts it? Is there another way to interpret this situation? 3. Reframe your perspective. Reframing involves looking at a situation from a different angle. For instance, instead of thinking, I failed this project, reframe it as, this is a learning experience that will help me improve. Instead of, I'm not good at this, try, I'm still learning and that's okay. 4. Build emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Here's how to develop it. Accept emotions. Don't suppress or judge your feelings. Acknowledge them and let them pass. Focus on solutions. After processing your emotions, shift your attention to actionable steps. Cultivate gratitude. Regularly reflecting on what you're thankful for shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. 5. Develop critical thinking skills. Critical thinking is your best defense against mental traps. To sharpen this skill, ask questions. Who benefits from this information? What are the sources? What's the context? Analyze assumptions. Are you making assumptions based on incomplete data? Consider multiple perspectives. Look at the issue from different angles before forming a conclusion. 6. Surround yourself with growth-oriented people. The people around you influence your mindset. Surround yourself with individuals who challenge your thinking, support your growth, and encourage self-reflection. 7. Create a growth environment. Design your environment to support positive habits and clear thinking. Declutter your space. A clean, organized space reduces mental distractions. Set visual reminders. Use sticky notes or screensavers with affirmations or goals. Limit digital overload. Reduce unnecessary notifications and social media usage. 8. Celebrate small wins. Breaking mental traps is a process, not an overnight change. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Each step forward reinforces your commitment to growth. A lifelong journey. Overcoming mental traps isn't about achieving perfection. It's about progress. It's about learning to recognize when your mind is steering you off course and gently guiding it back. Remember, your mind is incredibly powerful. By understanding how it works and how it sometimes tricks you, you can harness that power to live a more intentional, fulfilling life. You are the architect of your thoughts and the master of your decisions. Embrace this journey with patience and curiosity, and watch as your life transforms. Congratulations! You've just completed How Your Mind Tricks You by Assets Investor. I hope this journey has opened your eyes to the fascinating ways your mind shapes your reality and sometimes deceives you. By recognizing these mental traps and applying the strategies we've discussed, you have the tools to take control of your thoughts, make better decisions, and live a more intentional and fulfilling life. Remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and every small step you take matters. Now, before we part ways, I have a small request. If you found value in this audiobook, please take a moment to share it with someone who might benefit from it. Whether it's a friend, family member, or colleague, let's spread this knowledge and empower more people to break free from the tricks of their minds. And if you haven't already, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on my YouTube channel, Assets Investor. That way, you'll stay updated on all the latest content designed to help you grow mentally, emotionally, and financially. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me today. Your journey doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. Keep challenging your mind, stay curious, and remember, you have the power to shape your own reality. Until next time, this is Assets Investor signing off. Stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next one.